Good morning and welcome to the Namaste experience. It is Thursday, beautiful day here at Namaste Village in Ajijic, Mexico, and I'm sure it's beautiful wherever you all are. No matter what, that's the key. No matter what. Doesn't matter what the weather is like, doesn't matter what's happening around you. We have come to the point where we have broken through into the light, into a light that is vaster than anything we could ever imagine, vaster and brighter than the sun, holier than any experience we've ever known. And this is where we land. This is where we extend. This is where we are now. I hope you can feel that. I know you all can, and I'm pretty sure you all can as well. I don't think you'd be here if you couldn't feel that light expanding within you, that inner light. And we begin to see in a new way when that inner light expands within us. We begin to see past the horizon. We're going to be hearing in a moment a beautiful analogy of what it would have been like hundreds of years ago to look at the horizon, standing at the ocean, looking at the horizon and believing that if you were to go too far, what would happen? Drop right off the edge. Imagine that for a moment. I mean, that seems so foreign to us. And yet just yesterday, I mentioned that there is a large group of people who still believe this, who have conferences. And they're very serious. They have their science that seems to prove that if you were to go too far, what would happen? Bink. We've been told that perception is insane. Well, we have lots of proof of that these days. But just for a moment, imagine that if that were true, how you would feel. The fear that you might begin to experience if you went out too far, if you got too close. Well, as we're going to see, it's very similar to the fear that many of us have if we go out too far in consciousness, if we extend further than we're accustomed or comfortable with. What might happen? Are we going to drop off this map? Are we going to completely disappear? Well, this is what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get going, I'm going to invite Reverend Eliza to come and join me. She and Rob are going to be leaving on, well, is it Monday or
Sunday?
Oh, Sunday.
Sunday, right after church, we leave.
They will be here on Sunday.
We will be here Sunday.
She'll be doing this service on Sunday, but their month of residency at Namaste Village is almost over, and we're going to be welcoming back Reverend David. He's been here before. Most of you will recognize him, but anything you want to say before we get going here, Eliza?
Before we get going? Well, you know what, I think what I want to say really before we get going is it's been such a delight, and it's been so awesome to truly be here only to serve, only to be in service and to meet all of you. And it's been great. So look forward to this session right now. Thank you for this invitation, and to Sunday. And then we'll be saying so long till we meet again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad we still have you here to share, and we're going to welcome you into this discussion. I'm going to put up on the screen now something that I wrote yesterday, actually for Ardia, who has been here in retreat. And this, when she was doing her session yesterday, her final healing session, this came through. So let me read this slowly, and we'll consider all of these points, and then we'll discuss them. So as you can see, it's called The Distant Horizon. Eternity is a reality within the mind of God. Eternity is a reality within the mind of God. Therefore, it is also in your mind. There's only one difference. The experience of your eternal nature is buried beneath all the illusions you have claimed till now. All of those illusions that you've claimed till now. And so it seems to be limited or somehow contained because it's buried, it's hidden. So it's almost like it's held within a container, unable to access, unable to be fully conscious. You are still unable to fully accept that God's eternal nature is your own. That's the key. God's eternal nature is your nature. Therefore, death cannot be real. If eternal life is true for God, then it must be true for all. Notice it didn't say just for you. It must be true for all. If eternal life is true for God, it's true for all because you are held safe within the mind of God. There is nowhere else to go. The beginning or the birthplace of illusions is that there is somewhere else to go other than the mind of God, other than reality. We can create an illusory world and hide there, but at no time is that a possibility. It seems like a possibility, but it is not. And that is your salvation, the impossibility of that. Okay, let's go on. Imagine standing on an ocean beach, looking out toward the horizon. It seems that the water suddenly drops in the distance, as if the earth is flat. But it wasn't very long ago that everyone in the world believed this to be true. Is this any different than believing God's grace is limited? Or that the illusion of an end or death is real? Is it really any so different than that? A few hundred years ago, people believed that if they sailed their ships too far, they would drop off the edge of the earth. Today, people believe that their lives will end when they reach the edge of their conceptual world. Do you see how similar it is? But is this true? All it took was one ship sailing further than what appeared to be the edge of the world to realize that the earth is actually round, and that the edge or the ending was actually just an illusion. And all it took for you to realize that there is no death, was the example of one who conquered death, demonstrating that the truth within each one of us is eternal. All it took was one full embodiment of life to prove that only life is real. Just remember this. God's nature is yours now and forever. Nothing can change except, nothing can change except, I should say that. Nothing can change that, especially a dream or an illusion that was never even real. What do you feel when you hear those words? I know I feel an expansion, just a falling back, a surrender. Like, yes, I feel this. Only love is real. Death has already been conquered. If I would allow it to be so in my mind, then I can share in that eternal life. I don't have to hold myself apart from that. I don't have to keep looking out at the horizon, believing that I'm going to drop off at some point in the future. It's happening right now, eternal life. If death was conquered for one, it was conquered for all. If God's grace is real for one, it's real for all, because we are all contained within the mind of God. It's really that simple. All we need to do is to accept it. So, what does that lift within you?
Some of the words you said, the expansiveness, the spaciousness, the freedom, really, in moving beyond our thoughts about limitation, our thoughts about death. I've had some experiences where my body has completely dissolved, and what's left is space, exquisiteness, nothingness, but in that nothingness, it's completely full of possibility, of love, of light, of spirit, of source, but not outside of me, right? I become it. It's like when we can know that the edge of the ocean, the horizon that we see, oh dear, it's sort of like the end of that plank I walked yesterday.
Oh yeah, she walked the plank yesterday.
Holy moly. Tomorrow, I think I'm gonna walk the plank and
Something
fall to my death.
she swore she would never do, and then she did it, and now she wants to do it again.
It's that overcoming, though. It's that walking into the unknown and discovering all is well.
Yeah, that you were safe the whole time.
Safe the whole time.
You never left the earth. You were never up 100 stories in the sky, but it sure felt like it, didn't it?
Sure felt like it. It sure felt like it. It did.
It just goes to show how real an illusion can play upon our mind. I mean, that plank, and anyone else who wants to walk the plank, you just let me know. I'll bring down my glasses. Because you feel the fear, you feel the hesitancy. Like you can almost feel the wind against your face as you're standing out there 100 stories in the air. But the truth is you never left the ground.
And the helicopter comes, right? And it looks like it's going to knock you off that 6-inch plank. Like, holy moly, or something else.
It just goes, the analogy is just to show that just like in that sense where you're wearing the glasses, you're 100 feet up in the air, you're walking a plank out, there's nothing beneath you. The truth is you never left the ground, just as in reality, we believe that we've entered in a world where we're vulnerable, where we can be hurt, where we can even die. The truth is you never even left heaven.
That's right. You never even left oneness. Separation is the virtual reality. The edge of the ocean, the edge of the horizon is virtual reality, as Carly experienced, and you too yesterday, when you go off that plank, which is why I have to do it again. What ends up is this, I mean, I didn't do it yet, but this soaring,
Yeah.
Right?
You do die in the thing, but that's okay.
But only your alternate virtual reality.
Right. I don't
personality,
die.
Right? Only your body.
Yes.
But even your illusion of your body and your virtual reality body, because you didn't die.
No.
Your feet never left the ground.
I just love that example, that way of understanding, that simple line that we say here all the time, which is in reality, you never left heaven. You are there now in this moment. All that really means is that you are in a state of oneness with the one, with love itself. You cannot leave. It is secure and sure. And you can create and play off any illusion, any dream you want, but that doesn't change. Just like in the walking the plank, oh, it sure feels real. I've done it 30 times, and every time I almost fell flat on my face yesterday. Because when I fell, you lose all orientation and you really feel like you're falling. But at no time was I in danger.
And you were really nowhere close to falling on your face because we had you.
Exactly. You were
It
around
felt like
me.
it.
I was supported.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, we don't have to do anything to remember, but pivot, to remember that we're in heaven, to go back into that oneness. You don't have to take another course or do another meditation or do another, 10 years of therapy. You don't have to. It's right here. It's right here in this moment within you. All you have to do is just drop into it. And you can do that at any moment. Again and again and again. And some people go, well, why do I have to keep doing it? It's because your mind still will pull you out of it, right? You'll land in bliss and then you go, oh, wait, where am I? Where's dinner? And then you land in bliss and then you go, oh, where am I? And then you land in bliss. And the more you do it, the more accessible it becomes. It builds new neural pathways. And it becomes then the habit and the pattern. And you can align vibrationally, you can align your frequency to that And then life gets really, really sweet.
The gravitational pull of the ego.
Yes.
It does pull upon us because this is what we have become so accustomed to. We are so used to that draw, that pull. And so we have the experience, but then 5 minutes later, perhaps we're like, oh, we're caught back in that web. But maybe the next time it'll be 10 minutes that and then that space begins to increase. That space of grace increases to the point that now the gravitational pull can no longer yank you back into the perceptual mind. You're now secure. You're now free. And this is the reason why we join here. This is why we come together, is because even these few moments every morning of being reminded and joining within the certainty of wholeness, it creates just a little bit more space until we get to the point where that snap back is no longer happening. The rubber band gets stretched and stretched and stretched till it snaps. And when it snaps, you might think you snapped, but the truth is perception has snapped, and now you're free. So I, one day, would love to have Vicky walk the plank. I would just love to see that.
Can we do a video recording when she does?
Yeah, when Vicky, when you do that, we're going to be videotaping you so you can see how funny it is.
I just want to know, do you get nauseous when you jump the plank?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, that I don't like that. I wouldn't go.
But I was more nauseous. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just do.
I don't
because
get
it's
nauseous,
got-
but you feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you feel it. You feel it. It's still worth it.
I'd rather walk the plank every moment and just every moment say, must be wonderful under here. Angels must be holding me up. Might as well enjoy where I am.
So Victoria, what would you like to share this morning?
Well, after listening to everything, and I like the plank idea, but I don't like to get nauseous. You know that I'm not going there. It's like a bad movie to me. But what I do, Teddy and I yesterday watched a bunch of Thich Nhat Hanh videos because, you know, it's a celebration of his life right now. And I remember we have an Insight Meditation Center here in Barre, Mass, in the Western Mass. And I remember years ago going there, and everybody's very mindful, very, very serious though. You know, mindful about a drink of water and mindful about every step. And that was a great example. And the image of seeing all my brothers walking around so serious has stayed with me and made me laugh. My whole life. I remember I had to leave. I was with Molly. Do you remember Molly, Jimmy? I said, Molly, we had to leave because I was hysterical. It was, and I'm realizing that's the way it is now. If we, you know, you were talking about the birthplace of illusions. Every moment is a new birthplace of illusion or a recognition of the angels holding you up. And I'm just all for recognizing, I don't care, they're invisible angels holding me up. I'm going with it. That's my reality. I'm not buying the other stuff. And I mean, Teddy had a little something in the middle of the night. He, you know, has a little mask and and he had a bloody nose, which can be very scary. But we got up and it was really funny. Because what happens is when you really are determined to enjoy what you can't see rather than be frightened by what you can see, the joy, it's like it really does penetrate through into moments of seeming challenge or trauma because you say, what is going on? And then everything is okay. Just like when you're walking the plank, but you're not, and your brothers are holding you up. Everything is okay. Because the ultimate bait that the ego holds is death. And when you say, nothing dies, who knows what it's going to be like, but I might as well start enjoying it right now. And then life becomes our meditation. Every step becomes a moment to enjoy. And even in the videos yesterday, Tish Nahan, he's talking about it opens to joy. And I'm thinking, why wait for it to open in joy? Let's start with joy. Because if you start there, you can't miss. It'll come. You do have to wait for it a moment. There are moments where it goes like that, and you say, okay. And it takes a moment, but wait for it because it's there. And when every moment becomes the birthplace, not of more illusions, that's our choice. Every moment is a choice. That's why it's all about right now. Let every moment be wonder, and enjoy it. Start by enjoying everything, the breath, the snow, the sun, the rain, the dogs, the bombs. Enjoy it all because it's a big party that's happening.
Yes.
Anyway, that's it. That's it.
Uh,
Enjoy it. Start now. Enjoy this moment. Don't be fooled by the appearances of anything. If there are angels holding us up, let's enjoy them. Enjoy them and thank them and have fun with them.
You know,
Start
when
enjoy.
Robbie walked a similar program, when he kept asking me, well, where's Santa Claus? I'm like, what? You see, well, when I walked the plank and if I fell off, suddenly I fell into Santa's sleigh and suddenly we flew up into the air.
Perfect.
So that's nice, but if I could redesign the plank program, what I would do is make it so that when you step off, angels
Right.
come and lift you up. And
Perfect.
that one you would like, Vicky.
Yep, I'll take that.
So Teddy, what would you like to share?
Well, I don't really know. I don't even know where we're at. Um,
We're in joy,
We're just on the plank, Teddy.
walking the plank.
I want to say something about the Thich Nhat Hanh video and joy. Now, one of the things that he was saying was the reason why we want joy is because we experience sorrow and what was the other word he was using?
Sorrow. Suffering. Sorrow. A lot of
Suffering
sorrows.
and sorrow. He said the reason why we want joy is because of suffering and sorrow. What they didn't go to, though, was our nature is joy. Our nature is God created. Our nature is God created us as his joy, as an extension of his joy. And that's the foundation of our being. Rather, and the reason why we want joy is because when we're not joyous, we're not experiencing our true nature. It's not because of sorrow. It's not because of suffering. It's because our true nature is joy.
Oops, sorry.
And
Speaking of joy,
that's one of the things.
Sorry, go ahead, Teddy.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things that's different for Buddhists, because Buddhists don't think there's a life after this. Your body, and when you're gone, you're gone. Whereas the advance that Jesus made is what you're saying. There's life eternal, and that life eternal is what joy is. We were created eternal, and this is a dream of something other than that. And our nature is what you were reading. We are eternal. We are the joy of God extending. God is love. We are love. God is eternal. His extension is eternal, like himself. It's not that we want joy and love because we've experienced the opposite, although the opposite may give us reason here to look for joy. But our nature is love and joy, and we want to join to remember who we are. That's the difference that I kept on seeing.
Hmm.
One thing he did say what was cool was they recognized that, the salvation of the world is somehow going to come when people join together in community. And one of the things that I kept on seeing is they all wear brown robes, and the women have to wear hats. And I couldn't see why anybody would want to join that community.
Hey, what's wrong with wearing brown robes, man?
Yeah,
Well,
here
nothing.
we are.
Nothing, but you're not making everybody else wear them.
That's true.
That's the difference. Well, everybody there wears these brown robes, and to be part of the community, you have to lose your individuality and become like them. And that's where I took exception.
Well, I would never ask Vicky to stop wearing Christmas sweaters. That's her.
I have my brown robes though too. Don't worry.
Thank you, Teddy. Basically, what you're saying is that God's will for me is perfect happiness. So why not start there? Let's not think that we have to somehow get there. Let's start there. And as you were talking, I was reminded of a song. It's actually one of the songs that I did when we were sharing the musical ACIM lessons. And Vicky, you'll remember this one because I recorded this in Minnesota when I was home with my family, and my two nieces were like, I don't know, 6 and 7 at the time. And so I brought them into the room and I had them sing on it. And this is such a joy-filled song. It's such a great reminder of what this lesson really is all about, that God's will for me is perfect happiness. Perfect happiness does not come and go. Perfect happiness is not here today and gone tomorrow. Perfect happiness is all around us every moment. So since we do like to sing and dance here, I'm gonna start that song. I'm going to invite all of you here at Namaste to stand up. And we're going to go ahead. Ravi, turn the TV up to its fullest volume. Good. And let's go ahead and feel that perfect joy right now. I want to see you smile. Sing that. God's will for me. God's will for me is perfect happiness. Perfect happiness. I just want to see you smile.
I just want to see you smile. God's will for me is perfect happiness.
God's will for me is perfect happiness. God's will for me. God's will for me.
I just want to see you smile.
Smile, 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 smile. Isn't that fun? Okay. All right. We just had to take a little dance break. Calico, I saw you had your hand up. What would you like to share today?
I'm caught on this virtual reality thing right now of, yes, this is all virtual reality. What we're dealing with is virtual reality. And and the other thing about happiness or peace, and this, I say this every day in a prayer when I'm setting up my intentions for the day. If I ask for God's assistance with any of my decisions, that's where I'll be going, to happiness and peace. However, this, and of course, has the wording, I don't have the wording right. If there is a lesson I would learn, then God is not going to stop that lesson. And the lesson I recently learned was COVID. And for the past 2 days, I've had massive, massive fevers. And I just, after going through cancer and, we can't help you and go into hospice, I dealt with all the terror involved with physicality and sickness. So this was interesting. I went into this completely differently. It was, okay, obviously there's something for me to learn with this lesson. And so I really went in deep prayer with all of it. And I must say, the fevers help, because they give you that foggy brain. I call it soft sight, so that you can really hear God. I mean, if you're really willing to, you can hear God in every moment. And so I went into this place of gratitude for having these fevers and getting this opportunity to do it completely differently. And it was profound. I mean, I really got peace is not the absence of sickness. It is the acceptance with gratitude for the lesson of sickness. And it's like, and it changed everything. There was an experiential shift that took place. And it was the same thing of standing on the plank and jumping. It's like, yeah, it's just another jump. And once you've done one, you realize it's no big deal. I can jump anything. And so I just needed to share that this is just part of the getting really clear. We are living virtual reality, and anything we fear will be a lesson that will come up in some form with someone. And it will come over and over until you're willing to accept the lesson. That's been my experience. And I just need to say, this has been the most pleasant experience called COVID that I could possibly imagine. And I got so much out of it, and I continue to, because I'm still sort of in that soft, foggy brain, which I love. So anyway, I love you all. Thank you. I've been tuning in every morning, and it's just kept me really in deep prayer, listening for the guidance and the lessons that I need to correct. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Calico. So glad you're getting the lesson. Eliza, what would you like to share here at the end?
Well, when we stand in that piece of music, or any piece of music, and you look around and everybody's smiling, and we're in that pure happiness, and we're in that joy, and that is it. In that moment, no mind, we were of no mind. Like Vicky always says, pay it no mind, but we were in no mind. We were in joy. And it's as simple as that. And the other thing that Vicky said that really just sort of landed for me is something that I teach a lot is we don't know. And that's brilliance. And every time we don't know, we open to the possibility of a greater awareness of spirit. If we think we know, we stay stuck. If we think we know that the ocean ends and drops off, if we think we know that plank is real, if we think we know whatever the situation in the world is real, then we've locked ourselves into a box of knowing an illusion is true. But when we go to not know, I don't know, and we go to joy in the moment, nothing matters in that place.
Yeah. I just want to second what you are saying, or maybe it's third, because I know you're repeating something you heard from Vicky, but staying in that place of, I don't know. I think all of the troubles in this world, especially today, it's been amplified so much, is one group saying, I know. The other group saying, you're wrong because I know. No, you're wrong because I know. And we grow further and further apart. But in the I don't know, maybe I love you. In that experience, we'll talk about that again sometime soon. We're open. We allow grace to move because I'm allowing or asking to be shown what true knowing is. What I think I know cannot be known, because ultimately any of that is outside the mind of God. See, now we're right back to where the lesson is. We are held within the mind of God. And when we know what is truly known within the mind of God, then we know all there is to know. Anything else can just fall away because it really doesn't make a difference. We are here but to know what is known within the mind of God, to see what is seen by the eyes of God, to love that which is loved by the heart of God. And if we can just seek that single-eyed, awakened perception, well, the rest, well, then perfect happiness. Maybe that's what that lesson is guiding us into. The experience of perfect happiness comes from there. And there you have it.
And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Eliza. We'll see you again on Sunday.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you,
everybody.
Vicky and Teddy and Calico and all of you. So blessed to be in this family. We are now going to share our final prayer. So if you would like to join us, you're welcome to stand, sit, whatever you'd like to do, but let's join together in our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Have an amazing day, everyone. We love you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
beautiful day.
I love you all.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.